The power of railwayism, where tension ends and excitement begins, enriching lives through selfless service. And today we are talking about leaders versus managers. Alexander the Great once said, "An army of sheep led by a lion will defeat an army of lions led by a sheep." And as we can see behind the success of any organization, there are a variety of people, out of which leaders and managers play a very important role. Many people think that both these roles to be the same, but they're actually not. Managers are generally responsible for the day-to-day operations. They have people who report to them. They oversee their work and help make all of the projects run smoothly. Some management characteristics are administration, setting specific goals, providing structure for the team, planning, organizing, delegating, implementing strategies, and solving problems. On the other hand, leadership is all about building a vision for people to follow. They inspire and direct with authority and intelligence. They help people feel confident and excited to follow their lead. Some of the leadership characteristics are innovation, motivation, inspiration, empowerment, and focus on people. Leaders create a vision for the future, set the tone for a great group culture, have long-range vision, and embrace change. One author says, managers put fire under a chair and leaders put fire in the hearts. But there are some shared characteristics between a leader and a manager, and they are open communication, honesty, integrity, respect, decisiveness, empathy, creativity, confidence, optimism, commitment, etc. And in the words of Warren Bennis, the manager administers, the leader innovates. The manager is a copy, the leader is an original. The manager maintains, the leader develops. The manager focuses on systems and structure, the leader focuses on people. The manager relies on control, the leader inspires trust. The manager has a short-range view, the leader has a long-range perspective. The manager asks how and when, the leader asks what and why. Managers have their eyes on the bottom line, leaders have their eyes on the horizon. The manager imitates, the leader originates. The manager accepts the status quo, the leader challenges it. The manager is the classic good soldier, the leader is his own person. The manager does things right, the leader does the right thing. No wonder they say, as long as the leaders are willing to lead, the followers will follow. Let's see what Peter has to say about it. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Sanjay. Good morning, everyone.
Tell us, what are the good values of a great leader?
To me, a great leader is somebody who knows where the organisation ought to be going, but also knows about as many of the people in it as possible. And he knows why the organisation is not working as it should. So he's got to be somebody who's prepared to sit down with people and actually spend time working out where the blockages are or the fault lines. Yeah.
And what do you think are the great qualities of a good manager?
To me, managers are about fair distribution of resources, so making sure that everyone has enough work to do, but nobody's got too much, and that nobody is taking work away from someone, or nobody is kind of not saying something, giving somebody else extra work that they don't need to be doing. So it's more about balancing the economy, if you like. But leaders are a bit different. Leaders are about priorities and directions, and also about understanding the characteristic qualities of an organisation. What parts of it work well and what parts of it tend to keep getting stuck at the same points.
What can one do to be a better leader or a manager?
I would say find out about what's really happening several grades well below yours. Somebody once told me that the best thing you can do to be a leader is to take up smoking, because now you know that smokers all have to go outside. Smokers are like a forbidden caste, and they all sort of skulk by the fire escape. But if you want to find out what's going on in an organisation, take up smoking, share a cigarette with them, because it's the only point often in many organisations where people from the high and the low and the left and the right all join together. So take up smoking, find out what people are actually thinking, and then put two and two together in your head as to where you know that your organisation is not working too well.
What message would you give to the world, Peter?
I would say good leaders and good managers are a great blessing.
Peter, it's amazing. Thank you. And let's see what Jamie has to say about it. Good morning, Jamie.
Hey, Sanjay.
Tell us, what are the great qualities of a good leader?
The great qualities of a good leader. I'd say inspiration. Obviously, the test of a leader is anyone following. You can only be a leader if people want to follow you. And so I think a big part of that is that you're inspiring people, that people want to live a better life, and they look at you as someone that can help them do that.
And what are the great qualities of a good manager?
Good manager. I like the distinction between the two. I think leadership is more broad brushstroke, big vision, whereas management is more about detail and strategy and day-to-day and nuts and bolts and accountability. So a good manager is someone that you like, that you want to be around. They're friendly, they're relatable, they've got good IQ and good EQ, and they're willing to challenge you and hold you accountable to goals and the finer points of the strategy, because you need the strategy to then make the vision happen.
So what can one do to be a better leader or manager?
To be a better leader or manager, well, I say this every time, but I would look at the Gospels and I would look at Jesus, who I think is the greatest leader of all time, and just let the person of Jesus, the leader that is Jesus, come off the page and inspire you.
What message would you give to the world?
The message I would give to the world is that God is love. He loves you, and He wants to be in relationship with you, that this life only really makes sense when you have that relationship with God through Christ.
Jamie, that was touching. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
see what Chris has to say about it. Good afternoon, Chris.
Hello, how you doing?
Tell us, what values does a leader have?
If you were leading, basically getting people to pull in your same direction, making them believe in something that make their life better, and to sort of being a leader is sort of making sure people sort of follow in your footsteps, and you try to enlighten them, try and give them a path in which for them to follow, basically, and to follow you into something that's going to be better for their lives.
And what do you think are the values of a manager?
Values of a manager, I mean, it's the day-to-day thing of actually managing something, but to actually be on the other side of that, as well as sort of being a leader as well, that they've got to be again pulling in the same sort of direction as you, but believing in the same sort of goals as you as well. But as in managing people and getting the best out of them, is just talking, just talk nice, be kind, have a cheeky smile.
Tell us, how can one become a better manager or a better leader?
It's listening to the people who are going to be doing the work for you, and that they represent you in a way. When I started, I didn't have no sort of manager qualifications. The only way I go about it is just treating people with respect, and they'll give it back to you.
What message would you give to the world, Chris?
We are hopefully, as in past my videos that you videoed me, that we are nearly out of there. I reckon we are out of here now. We can get back to some sort of normality of life, get people out again, get people spending money, and get this country moving again.
Chris, as always, a pleasure.
Always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's see what David has to say about it. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what are the good qualities of a great leader?
Good qualities of a great leader. Well, he'll have a vision. He'll have a plan, and he'll have a strategy as to how he's going to execute that plan and achieve his vision.
And what do you think are the good qualities of a great manager?
Well, a manager's a good organiser, good people person. So a manager takes all the resources that are available to him and he deploys them to achieve the goals.
So what can one do to be a better manager or a leader?
And learn. Study, learn, listen to others, learn from mistakes.
What message would you give to the world, David?
Manage yourself. Just focus on managing yourself. Be the best you can be.
David, as always, a pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sanjay.
And let's see what Tom has to say about it. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what are the great qualities of a good leader?
Oh, well, I think a good leader, in my experience, from what I would say that my philosophy is that you need to lead from example. So, for example, if you're going to ask somebody to do something for you, it's got to be something that you're prepared to do yourself. I think that it's a position of responsibility. So you need to be mindful that people are going to be watching your lead for what you do in everyday life, not just maybe in the workplace or in certain environments. People are going to be watching you to take your lead from everything you do, and then if you're a really good leader, you'll inspire people to be like you or better. So I think that's kind of what I would say a leader does. They inspire people to be better or better versions of themselves through their own actions.
What do you think is the great quality of a good manager?
Yeah, so I think with a manager, obviously, it's a bit different because a manager manages people or resources. So you need to be organised, you need to be effective, you need to be a good listener as well, and you need to be mindful of your workforce and your work tasks, so that they don't consume you and they don't consume your staff. So they're the sort of things I think a manager should do. They're there to make use of the resources that they have in an effective way, and in a way that isn't going to create too much stress. I mean, stress is a part of everyday life, but too much stress is not good for you.
What can one do to be a better manager or a leader?
Yeah, so for both, I would say you need to be mindful of the people around you, what their needs are, and also what your needs are. You need to manage yourself and manage the people around you, so that you have a workplace that's harmonious, where you can have a laugh, but you're productive as well. So I would say for the both roles, I think that kind of encompasses what I would think. Yeah.
What message would you give to the world, Tom?
For leaders and managers, I think if you don't think that you're an effective leader or an effective manager, then I think one of the things that I would do is I would look at other leaders and managers, like famous leaders and managers in the world. You know, people like Nelson Mandela, for example. He was a great leader, but he was also a manager because he managed a country. So look for people like that, because they obviously had something unique about them, because they were sought after for their company, for their advice, from all across the world. So, you know, if you have any doubts about your own qualities, then take inspiration from other people and learn from what they did and how effective they were.
Tom, that was brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sanjay.